Now, I understand when moving to a new city, you have no idea how the city is laid out. You don't understand the highway systems, where the cities and towns are relative to each other, and where anything is in general. I understand that, and today I want to go over an entire map tour of the greater Phoenix area, show you where all of the suburbs are, how the highways work, and how you can get around and navigate the valley. Now, if you are planning a move out here to the greater Phoenix of Arizona, I do have a free relocation guide and living in Arizona guide. It goes over all of the different cities and neighborhoods in different parts of Phoenix, but it also has a relocation strategy page where it goes over different strategies on how you could actually start your relocation trip out here to Phoenix. So reach out to me for that. It's completely free. My name and number on the screen, and I can send it right over your way. So without further ado, let's get started and show you the highway system. So looking at the map here, it looks like there's a lot going on, but there really is not much to it here in Phoenix. So no matter where you go in the valley, whether you are in the East or the West Valley, everything is on a grid system. So all of the streets run north and south, and all of the street names run east and west. So for example, if you are looking at where Cactus Road is, that runs east and west. So all of the names are running that way. And all of the numbers like 43rd Avenue runs north. Really easy to kind of navigate where you are. 43rd Avenue is right here. Cactus is right here. So you're going to be 43rd Avenue and Cactus. Now the avenues run further west and the streets run further east. So if you're looking at, 122nd Street, that's going to be way far out here. And if you're looking at 132nd Avenue, you're going to be way far out here. Really easy to navigate. And then down here is in Central. Just the only thing that you'll have to learn is kind of the order of the street names and where everything is at like that. But the highways are very easy to kind of learn. We have a main highway here, the Loop 101, that kind of connects the East Valley to the West Valley. We have the 17 here, which is a very central highway. The closer you are to the 17, kind of tells you how close you are to Phoenix as a city. Then, of course, the West Valley has their own kind of loop highway. The Loop 303 out here connects, the northern West Valley to the southern West Valley. The East Valley has their own loop, the 202 over here, that actually connects and goes all the way around to the other side of Phoenix there. They just added in this new part of the 202. Now, you kind of get a little lay of the land there. Of course, we have a couple of other highways, the I-10 that goes all the way to Los Angeles. It runs all the way through and then kind of goes down here past Chandler. Of course, we also have the 51 here that is kind of more of a central Phoenix drive, kind of takes you through part of Scottsdale and uptown Phoenix, all of that. But let's talk more about when traffic is and where traffic is in particular. So here in Phoenix, our traffic is very minimal compared to other big cities. We really only have rush hour from about Monday to Thursday and about 7 a.m. to about 10 a.m. and then again at about 3 to 6 p.m. Now, the reason we really only have it Monday through Thursday now is we're seeing a lot of more hybrid workers where they only have to be in the office a couple of days a week. And then, of course, a lot more remote workers. So shortened office weeks and hybrid workers have really made our rush hour traffic a lot less. And we already really didn't have too much traffic anyway. Now, the big parts of the valley where the traffic is happening the most, the number one spot where the most traffic is, I would say, in the valley is right here, right on the 101, right off of Scottsdale here. And the reason for that is a lot of people work in Scottsdale and they live in either the East Valley, Chandler, Gilbert, very family focused area. So they'll live here in the East Valley and commute to Scottsdale. And then when they leave Scottsdale, they have to use this 101 right here. And then an equal amount of people who work in Scottsdale also live in Peoria in the West Valley here. So this little strip of the 101 here, north-south, you get traffic going both ways at about both rush hours. So the traffic here on the 101 can be really bad during rush hour. Now, another spot where there is a lot of traffic is right here off the 347 where the 10 shoots off over to Maricopa. During rush hour, this is really, really busy. There's only about 2 lanes here. And the reason this is so busy, it looks like there's nothing here because there is nothing right here in this area. But people who live in Maricopa is a much more affordable area. You can get homes in the 300s, the 400s, the low 300s in that area. When they commute to work, this is really the only street that they can take. So during rush hours, people are using this street to get to and from Maricopa, and it gets extremely, extremely busy. They should be expanding that over the next couple of years, but that's definitely something to keep in mind if you are planning a move to Maricopa. Now, the next spot where a lot of traffic is happening is right here where the 303 meets the 60 or Grand Avenue. There just hasn't been enough development here where the 60 hits. There's just not enough lanes yet. So getting onto the 60 and getting onto the 303 is really hard. So people in the West Valley definitely understand. And they kind of have a little bit of traffic all throughout the day. It's nothing crazy. It might add 5 minutes onto your commute. But during rush hour, it is even worse. And then just this kind of general 60 in general, it has a little bit of traffic to it right here. But then that can take you all the way to Vegas. And then it's pretty much a straight shot and there's not too much traffic on that. Now, another thing to keep in mind when you're making your daily commute to work is just about everywhere where a highway touches another highway, a junction like that is going to have increased traffic during rush hour. It's kind of like that in every city, but that we definitely have that here in Phoenix as well. Now, the nice thing about traffic here in Phoenix is when it's not rush hour and it's the weekends or just kind of middle of the day, there's almost no traffic on any of our freeways. And we almost have an issue with people going too fast on our freeways with no traffic. But on the weekend, you can zip around the valley very quickly. There's no traffic. You can get to anywhere you want to go, whether it's going out to the mountains or going to Scottsdale for some entertainment. There is no traffic and it's really easy to get around. Now, the only exception to that is when we have big events, like we just had our Phoenix Waste Management Open here in Scottsdale, and there will be traffic a couple of exits before and after the event, wherever it is, but it's nothing crazy. It might add 10 minutes onto the commute total, and that's really only if you're going to the event and you have to get off there. But if you stay in the left lanes, it really shouldn't add any time onto your commute, and it shouldn't affect your drive at all. Now, let's start tackling the different cities that we have here in the greater Phoenix area. Now, we're going to be going over, the top 10, 15. If I went over every little small town, we would be here forever. And just because I talk about one more than the other doesn't mean there is more to do or I like it more. It's just, what's coming to mind while I tour this map of the greater Phoenix area. So we'll start here, right here in Phoenix. This is our downtown area. We've got great entertainment there. The Suns actually play right down in there, and so do the Mercury. This is kind of our uptown Phoenix area right here. And Phoenix stretches all the way up to about this area right here. This is kind of the Norterra area, and Phoenix is covered in Norterra. It actually stretches all the way up into Anthem. Anthem is also part of Phoenix. And then it all the way down far as south is here, which is Ahwatukee right here. That's a very sought after neighborhood in the actual city of Phoenix, Ahwatukee and Ahwatukee Foothills. Very nice neighborhood. It has some of the best schools, best homes, newer homes, larger homes, kind of everything, and it has great access to South Mountain Phoenix Preserve there as well. I also mentioned at Anthem. I'll show you kind of where that is on the map. It is all the way up here. It's pretty far north, but they have all of the shopping and different things that you would need here. It is part of the city of Phoenix, so they have City of Phoenix water, the Phoenix PD and fire department and all of that. It's a really big master plan community built out by Del Webb. Very family focused. They have great golf, basically everything that you need. It's almost its own city almost, but it is not. It is part of the city of Phoenix. So definitely something to keep an eye on if you are looking for a really family focused neighborhood, maybe a little bit further away from everything, a little bit more privacy. Now, the majority of the homes in Phoenix are going to be built in the 70s and 80s, basically this whole area here. Everything is non-HOA, 70s and 80s, maybe some in the 2000s. But definitely older homes in the city of Phoenix. That's why it's so central. You're going to have great location living in these homes, but it's going to be a little bit older and you're not going to have an HOA for the most part. There are some HOA communities throughout Phoenix that have nice clean streets and things like that, but the majority of them are going to be built 70s, 80s, no HOA, but have great location and really easy to zip around the valley. And then of course we have our multi-million-dollar homes in Phoenix right here in the Biltmore area. All these kind of homes in the midtown, uptown area, really cool homes, quarter acre lots. Some are older, some are newer, but they're really unique, most custom homes. And then of course the Biltmore estates are, $5 million homes right there on the Biltmore golf course. Let's talk about Scottsdale. Now, of course, you've heard of Scottsdale if you're thinking about moving out here. You're probably wanting to move into Scottsdale because of all the entertainment. So Fashion Square is right here. It's one of the largest malls that we have here in Arizona. A huge mall. It's got all of the upscale stuff, all the big box shopping, everything. People come in from all over to go to Fashion Square. And the nice thing about Fashion Square is it's right across the street from Old Town Scottsdale. So if you visited Scottsdale, chances are you've visited Old Town Scottsdale. A ton of bachelorette parties, all the cool bars, entertainment, drinking, eating, everything to do in Scottsdale is right here in Old Town Scottsdale. but not quite everything to do in Scottsdale. So there is the Phoenix Country Club right over here, the Phoenician. But Kierland Commons and the Scottsdale Quarter is about 20 minutes north here. So to give you a little bit of perspective, here is Old Town and Fashion Square, and about 20 minutes north. So you can cover this ground in about 20 minutes up here to the Kierland Commons and Scottsdale Quarter, which is, again, if you go here day, night, weekend, weekday, there's going to be people here, and there's going to be great food and entertainment. Some great places to eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, anything you could possibly imagine is going down here in the Scottsdale Quarter and Kierland Commons. Definitely look into those areas. They've got some really cool high-rise condos here in the Kierland Commons, really great golf courses and entertainment in there as well. Now let's start shifting our focus over here to the East Valley. So we'll start with Tempe. Tempe is kind of one of our smaller cities here in the greater Phoenix area. You definitely know about it for ASU. That is kind of what it is known for. That is where the main ASU campus is. But other than the college, there's really not too much going on in Tempe. There's the Tempe Town Lake, which has some cool high rises in there, high rise condos. But other than that, it's going to be, single family homes, 70s, 80s, HOAs, some non-HOAs, but for the most part, Tempe is just known for Arizona State campus. Now, our hockey team, the Arizona Coyotes, is currently playing here in Tempe, the Arizona State's hockey facility. They are using that. They don't have a home right now. They are planning to build up here in this little vacant land here in North Scottsdale, so that's something to keep an eye on. But as of now, our hockey team is playing there in Tempe as well. Now, Mesa is a very interesting city. It's a very large city. It's kind of the oldest of all of the East Valley cities. And here in Mesa, it's very similar to Phoenix. It's kind of the Phoenix of the East Valley. A lot of homes in here, 70s, 80s. A lot of the same builders from Phoenix are kind of built these tract homes in the 70s and 80s. But Mesa itself has great access to all of the outdoor activities. So they have great access to Saguaro Lake, which is right on over here. They've also got great access to all of the mountains. They've got Red Mountain, Painted Mountain. So Mesa itself has great location for the East Valley. They can kind of zip around to all of the other neighborhoods in the East Valley. But then they've also got these subdivisions where they're $1 million homes. So just like every other city, Mesa has its good areas and its bad areas. But again, most of it is those tract homes from the 70s and 80s kind of spread throughout, and then $1 million neighborhoods, some HOA neighborhoods, but for the most part, just great East Valley location, being able to get everywhere in the East Valley really easily, and being able to get to all of the outdoor activities here in the East Valley really easily as well. Now we'll talk about the big two main attractions here in the East Valley, Chandler and Gilbert. Let's start off with Chandler here. So Chandler is about 20 minutes from the airport, to give you a kind of idea where it is. So the airport is right on over here. This is about a 25-minute drive to Chandler, I would say, to give you an idea of where it is relative to Phoenix. Now, Chandler's downtown area is very cool. It's kind of an old towny, kind of their version of Old Town Scottsdale. They've got a ton of different local spots in there, some bars and eateries, things like that. And then they've also got Chandler Fashion Square, which is their version of Scottsdale Fashion Square. It's located right here. Now, Chandler is a very family-focused neighborhood. I was saying a lot of people live in Chandler and work in Scottsdale. So the Chandler Fashion Square has a lot of things to do for the kids, great restaurants, but also like a Crayola experience, which you can basically spend, 3-4 hours with the kids there just making new colors and things like that. So Chandler has a lot of things to do for the kids, but also has great golf, and you're really close to all of the entertainment there in Scottsdale. There are also some great neighborhoods here in Chandler, obviously, with it being so family focused. A lot of newer neighborhoods here in Chandler. Ocotillo is a great one if you're looking in Chandler. Copper Commons is a good one. Sun Groves. There's a lot of great neighborhoods in Chandler to check out. Now, one thing I did not mention about Mesa is it does have some spring training. The Cubs actually do their spring training there, just off of the 202 over there in Higley. So that is something to check out if you are looking in Mesa as well. Now, Gilbert is also a newer city here in the East Valley. They've got, again, very family-focused feel to them as well. Chandler and Gilbert, very similar towns. They're not the same, but they are very similar. Some great neighborhoods in Gilbert are the Islands right here. You can actually see it on the map. Really cool. It's, waterfront properties in there, which are rare here in Phoenix. And then they've also got kind of a downtown Gilbert area as well. They have a water tower over here. And they've got, dining and all of that great stuff. They do a Gilbert downtown food tour that you can go in and check out. So they've got great dining in there as well. So Gilbert and Chandler are the really two main family-focused areas here in the East Valley. And I'm just trying to put in perspective here kind of where the East Valley is relative to Phoenix. Obviously, it's east, but it's really not too far away. You have to go through Tempe to get to the airport, but that is kind of where the East Valley is. Now, one of the last places I want to talk about here in the East Valley is Queen Creek. It's one of the most up-and-coming cities in the nation. Actually, it was top 15 along with Maricopa, which we'll talk about next. Both of them were in the top 15 for the fastest growing cities in the nation. Now, Queen Creek doesn't have too much entertainment of its own. It has a couple of different things opening up, like the Queen Creek Olive Mill has been around for a long time, but they've got the Pecan Lake Entertainment Center that just opened up. They've got a lot of cool things going on in there, mini golf, laser tag, all these different things. But Queen Creek itself was originally a farming town, and it's very family focused. So if you want to be a little bit away from everything and kind of have your own small town feel, only about 60 to 80,000 people are living here in Queen Creek. If you want to have a smaller town feel and be more family focused, Queen Creek might even be a great option for you as well. Power Ranch, another great option for a neighborhood there in Gilbert. Now we'll talk about Maricopa. If you're coming in from somewhere where housing is cheaper than Arizona, which is not too many places, but if you are, Maricopa would definitely be a place to look. Like I was saying, you can get a brand new home in the low 300s to 400s here in Maricopa. You are a little ways out, so there's not any too many big box shopping going on in Maricopa. You've got to take about a 25-minute drive into the rest of the city to go to a Costco. But if you don't mind being that far out and you want to buy a home, Maricopa would be a great option for you. Now, to put into perspective, Queen Creek is probably the furthest out you will be in the East Valley unless you move to Santan Valley, which is kind of like Maricopa, not much going on there entertainment-wise, but, a lot of new build homes in there. But anyway, Queen Creek is probably going to be the furthest east that you land here in the greater Phoenix area. And this drive to the airport, which is in downtown Phoenix, is about 45 minutes. So that kind of puts in perspective the drive time there. It's taking you about 45 minutes from Queen Creek to get into this downtown area. It's going to be about the same to get into that Scottsdale area. So being the furthest out away, you're still only about 45 minutes away from downtown Phoenix, which is a pretty cool thing that we have here in Phoenix. You can be located what looks like so far away, but it's less than an hour to the downtown Phoenix area, which in other cities, New York, LA, to be less than an hour away from LA, you have to be basically living right there in downtown LA. So cool thing we have here in Phoenix is how far away you can be in perspective, but really not be that far of a drive away. Now we'll start talking about the West Valley we have here. One other place I didn't mention when I was talking about Scottsdale, Paradise Valley, $20 million homes in there, very high-end area. I'm sure you've heard of celebrities buying homes there in Paradise Valley. Let's talk about Glendale. So Glendale is kind of like Phoenix, a lot of track homes, 70s, 80s, no HOAs. Of course, there are some that are built in the 2000s and have HOAs, but Glendale's big entertainment attraction is Westgate. That is where the Cardinals play. They're building all types of different things there. They're building a new resort, the Via Resort. It's going to be pretty crazy. They've also got Pop Stroke, Top Golf, all this great stuff going on in Westgate. That's also, like I said, where the Cardinals play. So definitely an up-and-coming entertainment area. Not quite as great as Scottsdale, but it could be there in, 10 years after they keep adding all this stuff. The Via Resort is actually supposed to open up later next year. Now, probably the most family-focused area here in the West Valley is going to be Peoria. So Peoria is about this area right here. It kind of stretches down into the right here off Grand and the 101 here as well. That's southern Peoria. But northern Peoria is a great area. A lot of newer homes there, access to all these great mountain trails, access to Lake Pleasant, which is right up here. Some great dining in there as well. Very family-focused area, great schools, everything. One of the biggest neighborhoods here in Peoria is Vistancia. So right here is Vistancia. They have homes that range from about $400,000 all the way up into $5 million, depending on what neighborhood you are there. Depending on what neighborhood you are in there in Vistancia, but a very great area there, very huge master plan community. And to put in perspective, that'll probably be the furthest away you get from the airport here in the West Valley. And that is still about 45 minutes to 50 minutes away from the airport. So again, you can zip around the valley pretty easily using our highways once you kind of get to learn the system a little bit better. And now we'll talk about these cities here. So Sun City West that you see here and Sun City are two very large retirement communities. I have a guide on all of the retirement communities. If you are moving out here to retire, I can send that over to you. But those are the two big cities that you see there. And then Surprise is right here. Now, Surprise is very similar to Chandler and Gilbert, the fact that it's very family focused. But Surprise is a lot more affordable than Chandler and Gilbert. So it's a little ways out there, and they have homes kind of in that high 300s to 400s will get you a really nice home there. And of course, they go up and up in there. You can get $1 million home in Surprise if you would like. But Surprise is basically the same as Chandler and Gilbert, just more affordable and a little further out from everything. Way less entertainment going on in Surprise. The main thing that they have there is a Surprise Sports Complex, which is a really large park where, you know, you can bring the kids and have a really good day. But there's just no real downtown area in Surprise, nowhere near as much entertainment and dining as Chandler and Gilbert. That's why the homes are a lot more affordable there. Now, right here is Luke Air Force Base. So if you're living in the West Valley, you will get a little bit of jet noise here and there depending on what neighborhood you are in. But that's, you know, the sounds of freedom. That's something you've got to deal with. Every big city has airports. Litchfield Park is a very cool area. A lot of acre properties in there, custom homes, very nice area, something to check out if you're looking for a home with some more land and kind of away from your neighbors a little bit, but still being just off the I-10 freeway there and being able to zip down to downtown and all of the areas pretty easily. Now, the last couple of places we'll talk about here are Goodyear and Buckeye. Goodyear and Buckeye. Buckeye started as a farming town, so you can get farming acres and big properties down there as well. Goodyear is more track homes, but newer homes. So these are 2010s, 2020s new build homes. They have a spring training camp there as well. But Goodyear is basically going to be newer homes, pretty central to the valley if you didn't want to live in an older home. Now, Buckeye is an interesting one. I was saying it has all these larger kind of horse acre properties, but then Verrado, which is a very large master plan community here, makes up the majority of sales in Buckeye. So Verrado is almost a city of its own, and it probably will become a city of its own one day. It has a ton of homes, clubhouses, an age-restricted section of it, a main street where all this shopping is. They've got a lot of shopping in there actually as well, and a new Costco just opened up just down the street on the 10. So Verrado makes up the majority of sold homes in Buckeye, but the majority of land in Buckeye is all this acreage property here. So that's something to keep in mind when looking in Buckeye. If you're setting up like a search and looking on Zillow, you could be in two completely different parts of Buckeye. You could be in Verrado, which is a very, subdivided neighborhood, or you could be in Buckeye, which is all the horse properties and all the acreage properties, living a farm lifestyle compared to a family-focused subdivided clubhouse is right down the street, and then the school is just, a half a mile away. The kids can walk to school and go to the clubhouse and spend time in the Main Street district, things like that. Now, the last couple of areas I want to mention are kind of some smaller areas, but definitely some areas to keep in mind if you are planning to move out here. Now, Scottsdale actually stretches out very far north up here. It's very luxury up here, very high-end eateries and $20 million homes, all of that kind of leading up into this Rio Verde area over here. But Cave Creek is a very cool area. You basically get there by going off the 101 and you find Cave Creek Road, and Cave Creek Road shoots all the way out there. Cave Creek has got a couple of subdivided communities like Tatum Ranch and Tatum Highlands here, but a lot of the homes in Cave Creek are going to be these really nice $1 million homes on these big acres of land. Cave Creek is actually a town, and we can zoom in on it here. Cave Creek Road basically just goes all throughout it, and there's a bunch of kind of cowboy knick-knack shops all throughout this. A really cool area to drive, and you can make a day trip out of that no matter where you live in the valley. But the homes in Cave Creek are definitely more expensive because it is more of an exclusive area. Same with Carefree, very similar to Cave Creek. It's just a town, one town over. Has very similar housing and very close to Cave Creek, all the entertainment in Cave Creek. Cave Creek really has some great entertainment. It kind of rivals Scottsdale for some of the best entertainment around that old town street that they have there. Definitely something to check out. But other than that, we have gone over almost the entire Phoenix area. Of course, we haven't hit every single little city, but that is the majority of what you will need to know before you come out here and look at the different areas. I hope this helped you out. I have that free relocation guide that you can reach out to me for. My name and number on the screen. I'm a licensed real estate agent here in the greater Phoenix area. If you are planning to move out to here to the greater Phoenix area, I'd love to help you out. Feel free to reach out and we can kind of start that process here now. But other than that, I will see you in the next video.